Hi guys, Bran here. What? Looks better, okay? Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. And today, quite obviously, we're going to be talking about the infamous stretched res conversation, and I'm just going to be talking about basically what I feel about it. And I have a few things to say, and obviously it's gonna be one of those things that, like, you're either gonna be mad at me or you're gonna love me, and it's whatever. Yeah, fence sitting is kind of a not too great practice, and I try to avoid it as much as I can. So might as well just get my thoughts out there, right? So, how do I feel about stretch res? The big thing being asked lately is, like, is it actually cheating? Is it actually cheating to use stretch res? And I say, yeah, pretty much. Then, you're probably going to say things like, well, what if you being able to use mouse and keyboard over a console player is technically cheating? Like, no, it's not. Literally, the thing that I think that separates it pretty solidly from, like, other things that I wouldn't consider cheating would be the fact that you can see over loops. And the thing that I always hear back in response to that is, it doesn't really help that much, okay? It only helps occasionally. There's only a few or a handful of occasional loops that I can actually see over. I actually can't see over that many loops. Okay, so then it's just, okay, we're only cheating some of the time, not all the time. You aren't saying it's not an unfair advantage. You're saying that it only helps. It only cheats sometimes. It doesn't cheat all the time. Which is a completely different thing. You are still having the ability to track where the killer is, where other players do not. Even other players on PC who just play in, like, the actual resolutions that the game is offered in, do not get that advantage. They don't get to see over things. They just don't. And I think the reason that is such a stickler, and why that's, like, such a sucky thing, and why you see so many varying opinions on it, is because usually you see stretch res on one of two things. Either it's a character that requires a lot of, like, field of view knowledge, so, like, Blight, for example, or most of the time, and this is like 90% of it, is survivors, like survivor players. And I think it comes from a lack of understanding of how much you're breaking the game for the killer side of things. Because on the killer side of things, doing that little moonwalk or mind game behind the wall is so crucially important to closing the gap between you and the survivor. Like, faking where you're going, hesitating where you're going, mixing up where you're going, like hiding your red stain, throwing your red stain one way or the other, can really screw up a chase in the favor of the killer, so that the killer can actually get you. And in most cases, that's kind of like in stronger loops, like Longwall Jungle Gyms, Shack, stuff like that. Like, doing those mind games is kind of like the only way you can realistically catch up, unless you have a power like Nurse or something like that. So what you're doing when you decide that you're going to stretch your screen to where you can see up over the loop is you are just taking that component out of the game. You're taking the guesswork and the experience that you have as a survivor to read the killer, and you're saying, I'm going to let the game do it for me because I stretched the resolution. So essentially, you're foregoing a skill that can be learned in the game, and that is an important skill to learn in the game, which is, being able to read a killer and being able to read the movements of the killer and kind of anticipating what they're going to do without rightfully like being able to see where exactly they are. Just saying, like, what would be the optimal play here, And you're removing that, and you're saying, I'm going to replace that with literally being able to see them. Which, is not something that, most people can do. And even if they, wanted to, you are literally just circumventing a skill in the game because you cheated by using your resolution. So, the other thing you're going to hear often when you hear this argument is like, well, hey, it makes my game look better. It makes my game run smoother. So that's why I do it. Okay, run it 1280 by 720 then. Because that helps. That does the same thing. Looks better, runs better. 1280 by 720. It's what I stream in. Do it then. Oh, that's right. You won't, because it's for the competitive advantage. And I think that's the big thing. I want to say this first and foremost. And, we're like 4 minutes deep into the video, and there's somebody who's already, like, typing really hard at me. But for those of you who've made it this far, I think the main issue I have is when people get an attitude about it, or people think, like, I juiced this killer, or they get cocky about it, they have a bravado about it, or they, like, vigorously defend it. And I say, stop being dishonest, you know. And this is, I know that Scott video happened and he said a lot of the same things that I'm about to say, but it's when you lie about it that it starts getting really, like, that's when I start like really like being like, I don't care enough, to be honest, to be like we should remove stretch rest is terrible. I'm not there yet mentally. I don't know if I should be or not. I don't really have enough information, and I'm not well informed enough about the situation. I think I'm moderately informed, and that's not like enough to really make a solid opinion on whether I should be like firmly against it or firmly for it, you know. But I think the situations where I get firmly against it are when people like, oh, I just juiced this killer, and I'm like, well, yeah, you could see him over the freaking loop, no doubt. Like, you literally have more information than other players on the team. You literally saw what the killer was doing, so you literally just had the right reaction without having to guess or make any sort of inferred decision or read. You essentially just cheated. So, like, don't act like you're cool. You don't act like you made a good play. You didn't make a good play. You just had extra information which allowed you to make the right play. You didn't, the play wasn't good. That wasn't a show of your skill. That was a show of your ability to enter a different resolution. It's completely different. And I think, like, you know, like the Scott video said, it's like, I think when people are out here saying, like, you know, it makes the game look better, it doesn't. It looks like garbage. It makes me nauseous to watch. It's disgusting. It's gross. So that's not true. So just, if you're out here and you're doing it, at least be honest about what you're doing, okay? Like until behavior comes out and says, like, hey, this is legitimately cheating. Like, it doesn't matter that I think it's cheating. It really doesn't, which is why I don't get uppity about it, right? Because, like, until behavior says it's cheating, who knows? Maybe it's not. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have pervasive knowledge of the entire game, and I'm not the final say on the game, so I could be wrong. Who knows? But until behavior comes out and says it is cheating, like, I'm not gonna like come after you for doing it. I think it's just when people have cocky, horrible, stinky attitudes about it and choose to lie and like hide it, where I'm like, hello? Why? Why? I remember, this is going to be a small tangent and then we'll end the video. I remember I was discussing in like a big streamers chat, and I forget who it was because it was like a late night where like none of my friends were streaming. So I had to like venture into new streamers. But like, we were talking about the stretch res thing, and they were kind of saying what I was saying, where it's like, you know, I don't really care about it. Like, I'm not going to come hunt you down for it. And I think he said something to the effect of like, essentially the conversation between the streamer and the chat came down to like, nobody would care if it got removed yesterday. And then my response, which kind of jarred the chat, was like, then why are we fighting for it so hard? If it's not that big of a competitive advantage, why are we fighting for it? Because if it's for smoothness or quality, you have lower settings and quality that are the correct aspect ratios. So it's not that. So why are you fighting for it so hard? And I think it came down, I think the streamer said back to me, like, I see what you're saying, but like, you know, and then he just got tampered out to the response to that. But yeah, it's like, if it's not actually giving you a competitive advantage, why do you fight for it so hard for it to stay in the game? You know, and that's TLDR. That's what it comes down to me, is like the dishonesty around it, which makes me kind of, yeah. And I would love to talk about it because I know there are people that, like, even in my community, that love stretch res. So I would love to, like, you know, talk with you about it down in the comments below. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your time with me. Hopefully I didn't alienate you. I'm going to watch that subscriber count go down. And I'm trying to get to 1,000, so yay. That's what you get for being transparent. Anyways, hope you have a good rest of your day, friends. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.